Hello everyone, welcome back to Data and Beyond. Today we are going to learn about scheduling. So, what is scheduling? What are its importance? What are the challenges of creating the schedule? So, in this video, we are going to cover all of these. So, before starting the video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. If you find those videos useful, please stay tuned in this channel because here I am going to upload WFM and MIS related videos. Okay, and if you have any queries, you can reach me out on LinkedIn and Instagram. These are my profiles. So let us start. WFM scheduling. Okay, so it means design reliable agent schedules that meet demand and policy. Okay, so schedule is something like a timetable that we assign to the agents. The definition of scheduling: scheduling is the plan that assigns the right people with the right skills at the right time to meet demand, policies, and employee balance. It decides who worked which day and shift, how many hours, when lunch occurs, when breaks happen, and when coaching or training is scheduled. Okay, so in simple language, scheduling means a timetable, like timetable we used to have back in our school. Means we have to go to the school at 9 a.m. Our first period was SST, Hindi, English. Then at 12 we used to have our lunch. Then at 3 we used to uh, get leave from our school, okay, for our home. So these was our timetable. So in the office, when we are in working in office or working in any MNCs, call centers, etc., so the the name changes from timetable to schedule. It means that when an agent will be logging, what will be his break time, what will be his short break time, when will be he log out, okay, and some offline activities like coaching, etc. So and how many hours he will be working, okay. So this is called scheduling. So in simple language, scheduling is just a timetable that is assigned to agents. Okay, for example, a 120 agent team supporting phone and chatting. So suppose there is a process which have 120 agents. Okay, so we we need 30 agents on morning, 25 agents on afternoon, 45 on evening, and 40 in night. So this is our schedule. Okay, so let us move ahead. Objectives of scheduling. So what are the objectives of a scheduling? Okay, the primary objectives of a scheduler are: if you are a scheduler or you are aspiring to become one of a scheduler, so what will be your objectives? So the these are some of the primary objectives that as a scheduler you should consider. First one is meet service level. So what is service level? Service level is is a metrics that that the client give us that we should always meet it. In most of the offices, the service level is 90%. Ensure adequate staffing throughout the day, and we also have to see that that all the agents are logged throughout the day. Suppose my hoop means working hours of operations are 14 hours or 18 hours, so my agent should be there for 14 to 18 hours. Okay, we have to plot the shift in that way. Minimize operation cost. So we have to also minimize the operation cost. This means we don't schedule extra agents. Okay, reduce overtime expenses. If if we can see that we have enough headcount to cover the volumes that are coming, okay, so we will not give the overtime. Improve employee work life balance. See, so this is one of the main thing that as a scheduler we need to consider, because work life balance is one of the most important thing. Because what happens if an agent will not be able to meet his work life balance, he will be burned out, he will be facing frustrations, and due to that his work will also be affected. Okay, so we don't want that. So we always have to think from agent perspective also. Increase schedule adherence. We have to also see the schedule adherence means that if I have scheduled a roster or a timetable to an agent, my agent is following that or not. Maximize resource utilization. As a scheduler, you need to utilize all of the resources that are available. Okay, improve customer satisfaction. One of the primary goal is to improve customer satisfaction. ensure compliance with labor laws and company policies. And while creating the schedule, we also have to follow the compliance with labor laws and company policies. Uh, if in many companies there are laws that an agent should not be coming to shift in 12-hour gap, before 12-hour gap. Suppose an agent log out today at 8 p.m., and if you are again calling that agent on the next day around 2 p.m., 2 a.m. in the night, or anything before 12 p.m., means anything before 12 hours, so it's a non-compliance. Okay, so this should not happen. And one more thing is that in companies there are rules like a agent should not work consecutively 6 days or 7 days, so we also have to follow that. Okay, so these two criterias that I have seen till now, and there can be many more depending on the companies and their laws. Okay, balance goal. As a scheduler must balance service target, cost, legal compliance, and employee well-being. Primary objective include meeting SLA. So as a scheduler, you must balance operations goals, client goals, and also the employee well-being. For example, 80% of calls answer within 20 seconds. It is our SLA. Our maintaining adequate interval staffing. What happens? You have did the right scheduling for the day, but but after the schedule have been published, you can see in real time that in some interval, suppose you have published the schedule for the whole day on for Monday, but you can see that on Monday around 8 p.m. in the night that you are short staffed. So your schedule was okay for the whole day, but at that interval at 8 p.m. you are understaffed. So we have to also manage that. Minimizing overtime, controlling labor cost, also ensure break and time off policies are respected to support burnout reduction. A schedule that eliminates peak understaffing. Okay, so what is saying, as a scheduler you also need to keep in mind that we need to minimize overtime, that we should utilize maximum resources that we have to reduce OTs, control labor cost. We will What we will try to do with minimum, we will with minimum agents we will try to get the maximum output. We will schedule in that way. Also we need to ensure that breaks and time of policies like leaves and week offs are given properly, because if we don't give that, a agent will get burnout. If a agent is continuous working for 4 hours, he is supposed to get burnout. So we need to plot the breaks in such a way that after coming to his break, after 2 hours he is getting a short break of 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, so we have to plot breaks in that way. Why is scheduling important? One of the most important topic, and sometime asked in the interview. So, without the proper schedule, employees may log in and log out at different times based on their own preference. This creates staffing gaps and negativity impact business performance. So, suppose when you as a child, when you are going to the school, you have a proper timetable that you have to reach the school 10 minutes earlier, because after 9 the gate will close, so you used to reach the school at 8:50, 8:55, or 8:45, earlier to 9. Okay, the break was at 12. After that 3, you used to get uh, leave from your school. So there was a proper timetable. But if there wasn't a proper timetable, so you would go to school at 10 a.m. Someone will come to school at 11 a.m. So there would not be any means proper timetable. So any child will come at any time, whatever his preference. And suppose someone is coming at 10, he is going back to his home at 12. So to avoid this, we have a timetable. Just like that, we have schedule in offices, because if we don't have, so agent will come according to their preference, according to their wish. They will log in and log out according to their own preferences, and that will create negative impact on the business. Why? Because this will affect us on SLA, on our customer satisfaction, our reputations, and client may take the business back from us. Okay, so poor what does poor student scheduling may lead us to? It's higher customer waiting time. So if we had done a poor scheduling and we are understaffed, so customer who are calling us will have to wait for a longer time. Their customer experience will become bad, and bad reputations spread fast. Okay, if you do something good for people, that does not spread fast, but try doing something bad to someone, and you can see that it will spread fast like a wildfire. Okay, increase abandoned calls. Our abandoned call will get increased. Miss SLA's target. Low customer satisfaction means our CSAT score will go down. Agent burnout. Agent will get burned out. Okay, excessive overtime. We have to give overtime to agents. Low productivity. Occupancy will be also low. Poor schedule adherence. Increased occupancy and stress level. The occupancy and stress level will also be increased. Okay, a good schedule ensures that staffing matches customer demand throughout the day. As a scheduler, you need to manage all these things. You need to create a schedule in this a way that my my operations are happy, the SLA targets are getting made, my occupancy is around 80 to 90%, that customer experience is also good, we are getting and CSAT review also good, agent should not get burnout, that we should not be providing excessive OT if not required. That my productivity should be also high, my adherence should be high. So these are the some of the things that we keep in mind while creating a schedule, and these are very important things. Benefits of scheduling. Now we comes to the benefit. What are the benefits of a scheduling? So meet SLA targets. If we have created a good schedule, then my SLA target will be met. Reduce customer waiting time. The waiting time for the customer will be reduced, and it will give them a good satisfaction. So our CSAT score will get increased. Control over time cost. If I have created my schedule in such a way that it is covering all the intervals and my call volumes are getting made, so we don't have to give OT. My OT cost will get reduced. Increase employee satisfaction. My employee satisfaction is also good, because if I am giving my agent proper schedules, that they are getting breaks on proper time, they are getting lunch break on proper time, they are coming on the shift, their shift are aligned, they are not getting 6 to 7 consecutive days, they are they are coming after 12-hour intervals, means they are getting proper rest. So if my employee agents are also happy, then the outcome will also be good for us, because they will give extra efforts for us. Improve schedule adherence. My schedule adherence will also be good, means people will be coming at proper time and they will be taking their break at proper time. Increase productivity. My productivity will also increase. Why? Because if my agent are satisfied, they will give 100%, or they will also give 110% for us. Optimize workflow utilization means our workflow utilization will also get utilized. If I am covering my agents in such a way, that in a such a schedule that my all my targets are meeting, all the volumes we are covering, then we don't need additional resources, additional FT. So our workforce is also getting utilized. Reduce idle time. My idle time will also be reduced. People will not be sitting on a well for most of the time. Improve operation efficiency. So my after combining all of this, what happens, my operations efficiency will also increase, and this will result in client appreciations. Headcount timeline. So split intervals. Hit with the These are headcount timeline. What we do, how we calculate the headcount. First, split intervals. When we receive the forecast, okay, from the client, in most of the operations we receive the forecast from the clients, and sometimes in some of the processes we have to create our own forecast. For that there is a forecaster. Okay, WFM forecaster role, or as a scheduler you can also create forecast. Okay, based on your AR model, ARIMA method, or moving averages, or linear moving average method. There are various forecasting methods, and it depends on you. So first, what we'll break the forecast into equal length of 15 to 30 minutes interval wise. We need the forecast in interval wise, because when we create the schedule, we don't create it on a day level, we create it on an interval level. Compute workload for each interval, we will see what is my workload. Okay, required agents. Then we will, after calculating the workload, we will see that how many hit count are required for those intervals. Suppose in 6 p.m. we need 30, in 6:30 we need 25. So in this way we will our calculate required agent, apply shrinkage. Then one of the most important factor that you need to consider is shrinkage. Suppose if you have created a schedule of 30 people on 8 p.m. interval, and you are seeing that your all the 12 volumes are getting met by 30 people, but what happened that there is shrinkage, that people are not coming, means due to their personal reasons or due to any family emergency or due to any unexpected reason, there is shrinkage, or there is any system outage, or there is some some training. So there is always we shrinkage. So we need to always consider shrinkage because it is one of the most important factor. And if you don't consider the shrinkage, then your schedule is completely wrong, and it will result in a bad schedule, and that will create operations bad reputation. You will miss your SLA, you will miss you will have to do the overtimes. So always consider shrinkage. Finalize head count. Round and sanity check each produce final interval head count. So once we have done that, we will check our peak hours, that my peak hours are getting met or not, whether we are having extra people on that or not. So we create an over under check, that whether we are understaffed or overstaffed. So we do that. Now moving forward, headcount versus schedule. So both are different, headcount is different and schedule is different. So staffing headcount definition is, staffing defines interval headcount. It answers how many agents are needed in each example 72 required at 9. It uses the forecast, shrinkage and service level target to determine these numbers. So what it is saying, it is saying that staffing defines interval headcount, means when we have created the staffing, it will define our interval headcount, means at 9 p.m. we need 72 agent to meet our target. It uses what we use it use forecast, shrinkage and service level target to determine these numbers. So we have derived the 72 agents from our forecast, shrinkage and service level target. When we do the calculation for 9 p.m., we saw that according to my forecast and considering the shrinkage and considering the service level, we have reached to a conclusion that 72 agent will be required at 9 p.m. Okay, scheduling creates the, and what is schedule? So scheduling create the actual loss, it assign people to shift. Okay, so scheduling means creating the actual roster, means assigning people their shifts. Means we are assigning 12 agents on 8 p.m. We are assigning 8 agents on 9 p.m. while honoring shift length, breaks and labor laws. Means we are not just assigning them shift, we are also checking that we are assigning them proper timeline. Means we are assigning them 9 hour of shift, and their breaks are plotted correctly, their lot of time is plotted correctly, and we are complying with the labor laws also. So schedule means all this. Convert interval need into overlapping full shift to minimize handoff and policy violations. Now scheduling flow. What is scheduling flow? Means how do we create a schedule? So first step is load head count. So first, one of the first step is we have to load the head count. So how do we do that? For that we need the historical volumes of calls, AST, occupancy and shrinkage. I will show you that on upcoming videos. Okay, so this will be a series of scheduling, part 1, part 2, part 3. This is the part 1 where I am telling you the definitions, importance, components and what are the challenges. In second part I will be covering how we drive the volume trend. In third part I will be explaining you how we drive the AST trend. Okay, so in this way this will be a 4 to 5 video series completely on scheduling. And I personally believe once you have completed all these videos of this series, you will be able to create schedules. Okay, and in this series I will be showing you how to create schedule based on simple methods and also based on align method. Okay, now let us get back. Load head count. First we need to load the head count for our interval level. Second, define shift template. Then we need to create our shift template, means how many agents required in 637. So okay, so we will create the shift template. Create initial plan. So we will create our first initial plan, means we will create a dummy plan that I will be plotting my 6 agent here, I will be plotting my 7 agents on this interval. So is it covering my shift, is it covering my 12 capacity? Okay, so these are the first three steps that we do. So scheduling flow means first we will load head count, that I already told you. We will load head count, means how many people are required in my morning shift, afternoon shift, evening shift, night shift, and in interval wise 6 p.m. interval, 6:30 interval. Shift templates, we will create the shift template, means what will be the start shift, what will be the end shift. Suppose a person is logging at 5:30, so what will be his logout? If a person is logging at 6, so what will be his logout at 3? Okay, so we will define the shifts, their weight. So that is called shift template. Initial planning, we will plan the shift. Okay, and we will plot the agent on them. So these are some of the schedule metrics. Once we have created the schedule, these are some of the metrics that we check, like meet 90, like coverage, means whether the schedule that I have created is meeting my coverage or not. Means it is for the 14 hours or 18 hours, whatever my hoop is, it is covering all of that or not. Overtime share of paid hours, that's still 5%. So sometimes what happens, my overtime, that we should not, there is a target of 5% of overtime, we should not exceed that. Okay, so if something like that happened, we also need to check that what is my occupancy throughout the day. So we have also to see what is my occupancy. So ideal occupancy is between 80 to 90%. But in peak times, when we are getting the most number of calls on that interval, so we also have to check whether my occupancy is getting fluctuated or not. If suppose my occupancy on those peak hour is going up to 95, 97, so means we have to reconsider our schedule. We have to add additional employees on that schedule. Okay, adherence above 90%, solid execution, maintain discipline in real time queuing. So we also, if my adherence is above 90%, 95%, means people are coming according to their shift. So means we have created a good schedule. And my idle time should be under 10% of paid time. Idle times means when a agent is logged in and he is ready to take calls, but there are no calls coming. Okay, means he is available because we have we have plotted more number of agents on those intervals. Suppose we were expecting 30 calls. To take 30 calls, only 7 people are required, but we have plotted 12 agents. So most of my agents will be sitting on idle. Okay, scheduling that matters. So now we have understand how schedule drives SLA and employee balance. Now we can convert interval requirements into headcount using standard formulas and craft daily schedule with clear shift breaks and offline activities. We'll be using key metrics to refine plans and sustain service quality with balanced workload. So we have now got an understanding that how schedules are prepared. Okay, and an initial idea we have got, that first we need the historical volumes. From those we will drive the trend of volumes. Then the same we will do with AST, we will do with occupancy. And using those historical metrics, we will create an initial shift template. And then after that we will create schedule, means we will plot in the agent on those intervals. Okay, now types of shift, means types of shift: fixed shift, rotational shift, split shift, weekend shift, flexible shift. If you are already working, then you know some of these shift. Okay, fixed shift means whereas employees always work the same shift from 9 to 6 p.m. His shift is fixed and Saturday Sunday off. These are called fixed shift. Rotational shifts means when an employee is being rotated. Sometimes he is working morning, sometimes he is working day, sometimes he is getting week off on Saturday Sunday, sometimes he is getting week off on Sunday. So these are called rotational shift. Split shift means when employees working in two separate blocks. What does this mean? It means that a agent work from 9 to 1, then after he is working from 3 to 8. In most of the cases we don't give split shift, but if there is a requirement, only then we use this. Okay, weekend shift. Weekend shift simply means the any agent who is working on Saturday and Sunday. Flexible shift start and end times vary according to the business requirement. For this is very rare and the employee must have WFH. Means flexible shift means suppose you have to work on any time. So generally it does not happen. We always have a fixed shift, fixed timetable, fixed routine for the agents. So but in exceptional case flexible shift is happening, so we have to get work from home to those employees, because we will call them and say you have to log in, so they have to log in. Okay, this is very rare scenario. Component of a schedule. What are the components that we need, or we use for creating a schedule are: we need start time, we need end time, we need weekly offs. Okay, lunch break, short breaks, offline activities like we have to plot training, coaching session, meeting session, one-on-one session, shift bidding, skill assignment means the routing profile, the skill of the agent, schedule adherence, occupancy, shrinkage allocation, interval coverage, overtime, VTO means voluntary time off, PTO paid time off means leaves, holiday planning. So these are some of the components that we need while creating a schedule. Means when I am creating a schedule, first I will be giving a start time to an agent, then I will be plotting a break for those agent, then I will be plotting short break for those agent, I will be plotting offline activities, I will be requesting the shift building from the TLs for those agents, skill assignment, their routing profile, their schedule adherence, occupancy, what is the floor occupancy going on. So these are some of the components that we required. Key scheduling metrics. What are the things that we must follow while creating the schedule? One of the most important metrics, SLA. Already, I have already explained you all this, but I am again reacted in this. Service level. ASA means average speed of answer. Occupancy. Schedule efficiency. Schedule adherence. Schedule efficiency means how much my schedule is efficient. Means if 10 people are required, I have plotted 10, so my schedule efficiency is 100%. But if I am plotting 12, my shift efficiency will go down. Or if I am plotting 8 agents, then also my shift efficiency will go down. Coverage percentage, shrinkage percentage, utilization, how much I am utilizing my agent on a full day, overtime percentage, understaffing and overstaffing, cost per hour. Okay, these are some of the key scheduling metrics. Common scheduling challenges. What are the common scheduling challenges we face as a scheduler? Incorrect forecast. So, if we get the incorrect forecast, my whatever my call intervals we have derived from that forecast, means the call volume that we have derived, it will be wrong. Suppose we have derived that at 6 p.m. 40 calls was supposed to come, but we have seen that 50 calls have come. So it will affect my SLA. So forecast must be correct. Okay. High shrinkage. My flow shrinkage is going very high. Although we have considered the shrinkage at 10%, 20%, whatever we have considered, but on some days what happens, there are unexpected and high shrinkage. So on those scenarios, my RTA or operation team will need to manage that by giving OTs, by pulling agent from other queues. Last minute leave request means we have created the schedule, we have already taken all the leave request from every TLs. We have prepared our schedule, but before publishing the schedule, on the last hour we got one new leave request. So to accommodate that, it become very challenging for us. Employee shift preference. So what happens when before creating the schedule, we do the shift bidding. Shift bidding in simple language means we are asking the TLs to ask the agent what shift preference they want. Okay, so we ask that, but what happens, sometimes we receive lot of shift preference requests, so we cannot accept all of that because it will impact our schedule. So what we try to do, we see if that after giving that preference my schedule adherence is not dropping, we give that. And if my schedules are not getting hampered, my all calls are getting met, we we give that shift preference. But we cannot consider all of the shift preference because it is not possible to always consider all the shift preference. Last minute client request means sometimes there are due to business requirement there are last minute request, means they need additional employees on those interval. Okay, sometimes the client need the coaching sessions on those intervals, so we have to manage according to that. Skill based staffing means routing based staffing, means if someone is from French department, we have to assign the shift to those French people on the interval on which we see that French calls are coming more. Unexpected volume spikes means we have created the shift perfectly, we have created the schedule perfectly, but there is a unexpected spike due to some festival, due to some offer, okay, on client product. So the volume has raised, and due to we are short staffed. In ideally we were staffed perfectly, but due to those offers we are currently short staffed, so we have to manage that. Attrition and new hire ramp up. Attrition and new hire ramp up are one of the most thing that you need to consider, because attrition happens. So if attrition is happening, means you will be understaffed for those intervals in which that you have plotted that agent. So we need to change that. New hire ramp up means some people were hired newly and now they were in training phase, now they will be coming to the process. So we need also to create those schedules for those people. Okay, qualities of a good scheduler. Okay, strong analytical skill. As a scheduler you must need a strong skills, means your stats should be good, you should be able to find out the loopholes where you are missing on schedule efficiency. Okay, excellent Excel WFM tool knowledge. So you need knowledge of Excel because most of the schedules are prepared on Excel, then they are published on Variant or IES and WFM tools like Variant, IES, Chronos. Attention to detail. You should give attention to every small details. Problem solving ability. You should have problem solving ability because as a scheduler or as a working professional there will be a lot of problems coming to your way on last minutes, and you need to solve them under pressure. Time management. You need to manage the time because you also need to do lots of things. Communication and stakeholder management, because as a scheduler you always need to communicate with the operational team and the client. Decision making skill. You need to make the decisions also. Knowledge of forecasting and staffing concept. So if you are only a scheduler, that will not help you in long term, uh, because sometimes you have to create the forecast yourself too. So you need the knowledge of forecasting also. You need to know how forecasting is done, how forecasting is done on monthly level, weekly level. So you need the idea of that also. Understanding of labor laws and company policies. You also need to have the knowledge of labor laws and company policies, what the companies follows. Ability to work under pressure, because as if you are working in corporate, if you are working in office, there is lot of pressure. And you if you are working as such an important role like scheduler, forecaster, capacity planner, so you will be always be having constant pressure, because if you do one wrong thing because of just your one mistake, the whole operation team will suffer, and we will get escalations, miss on SLAs, and it will hamper all of the operations. Okay, so these are the some of the qualities of a good scheduler. So that's all for this part 1. In part 2, we will be working on our Excel file. We will be seeing how volume trend are derived. If you like this video, please like, comment, share and subscribe, and please stay tuned for upcoming videos, because you will be getting a lot of ideas about how a scheduling is done. Thank you.